Morning. So the other day, my daughter and I were driving in her Toyota. She has a learner's permit, so we have to ride with her. And it completely died. It did manage to make it back to the house, but it was doing all kinds of weird things. So the time before when we were driving it, I noticed that the battery light came on a couple of times, but as soon as you rev the engine up, it went back out. So I was kind of suspecting that the battery might be going bad. And this time, all kinds of crazy stuff started happening. The power steering quit working. All kind of lights on the dashboard. The gauges were going crazy. So I thought maybe the belt had gone bad. But came back, checked, the belt's still on it, so now I'm back to suspecting the battery. So we're going to get set. We'll check it all out. So let me get the meter and the battery tester, and we'll be right back. This battery is kind of old, so there's a good possibility that that's our culprit. We'll know here in a minute. Got my meter, put it on DC, see what kind of voltage this battery's got in it. Alright, so it says 12 volts. So now, grab my other tool. Got a battery load tester. Now, not everybody's going to have one of these, but you can go to the parts store. They have them there. They can check your battery. Alright, so we'll give it the load for 10 seconds. See if y'all can see that. We're over here in the green right now. Oh yeah, that battery is shot. It's going right on down. Alright, so that tells us what our problem was. It was the battery. So, let me go get some tools. We'll pull this battery off, run to the parts store and get a new one. And then once we get the new battery in there, we'll crank it up and check everything and make sure we're good to go. To get this battery out, you're going to need to take this plastic piece here off. So we've got a bunch of these pop-up rivets. If you've never seen these, basically they've got a centerpiece here that pops up. When you put them in, that centerpiece pushes down and it pushes these fins out, and that's what holds everything in there. They're kind of cheesy, but you just take a couple of flathead screwdrivers and pop them up and they'll come right up out of there. So once you get all those out, then you can take this plastic piece, pop it out of there, and just set it to the side, because you got to get to this bolt right here. So to pull this battery, we're going to need a 10mm wrench, 10mm socket on a ratchet. Going to take, as always, your negative cable loose first. So there's that. You kind of sit it back to the side there. Then you can take your positive cable loose. And just kind of wiggle it around a little bit. Get it up off of there. Alright. Now on this car, it's always kind of in the way when you try to put the battery back in, but what can you do? Once those are loose, you can pull your two. You just need to loosen this one, I think. And then pull this nut off here. Then you can lift this up. Swing it over to the side. But I'm going to go ahead and take it off of there so I can brush it off and throw a coat of paint on it real quick since it's all crusty. Alright, so that's off. Then all you got to do is lift the battery up out of there. Now this has got one of these insulating things on it. Take that off, then we can pull the battery up out. All right, I'm going to throw a coat of paint on this, which y'all probably don't want to watch just because it's corroded. We'll throw some baking soda on there to kill the corrosion, clean it up, throw a coat of paint on it. Then I'm gonna hop into XJ and take this battery up and get a replacement, and then I'll get back with y'all. Okay, we have our new battery from the parts store now. We can dropped it in there. We can go ahead and put our cross piece back on. Let me grab that real quick and I'll be right back. All right, we got our battery hold down, cleaned and painted. Go ahead and drop it back on. Get everything moved around where it needs to be. There we go. Little bolt back in here. Nut back on this side. Everything's secure. So I like to use these little washers on my batteries. They kind of save everything from getting so much corrosion all over them when this thing goes to leaking out of the posts. Black one on the negative, red one on the positive. So we'll hook our positive cable up first. Make sure it's all the way down on there. Tighten it down. It's tight. We'll take our negative, put it on. Tighten it down. That's tight. Now we can put our cover tray back on, the plastic. Put all these little plastic doohickeys back in. All right, with everything back together, now I've got now you may have noticed I left the cover off of this battery. It's because that cover is completely soaked. It's got foam in it and it's completely soaked with battery acid, so we're going to go ahead and leave that off of there. I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. So Let me run in the shop and grab the keys, and then we'll crank this thing up, and we're going to double check and make sure that the alternator is in fact charging, and we'll be good to go. So I'll be right back. Alright, for a baseline, we know this battery 12.75 volts. So let me crank this up. Only 12 volts, so we know the alternator's not charging. So it looks like we have a combination of two problems. The battery was bad, which it was old, and it failed the load test. But we also have an alternator that's not charging. So now we'll have to order parts for that. Okay, so we got stuck with the old double whammy. We had a bad battery and a bad alternator. So I know some of y'all are gonna comment that that I load tested a dead battery, but that battery was on the charger before I load tested it. I just didn't have it on the video, because who wants to watch a battery charger? So the battery was charged. It was bad. Now we've got the new battery in there. The good news is, with the new battery in there, it cranks up, and all of the warning lights and the weirdness and all kinds of weird stuff happening, all that's gone. Steering's back. Apparently this RAV4 has electric steering. So now all we're left with is a bad alternator, which we'll get the parts ordered, get a new belt ordered, and luckily we don't drive this car every day, so we can order it off the internet and get a good price, and we'll come back with that in another video. So hopefully this helped y'all out, gave you little ideas, what have you. And if you like it, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We've always got new stuff coming, and y'all have a good one.